If what you know is not true, when would you like to know that? We'll get started here just in a couple of seconds. I'm going to say hi to my inner circle members and also my chatters, and we'll get started just in a few seconds. So, hi, Bill. Hi, Sarah. Hi, James, Lisa Marie, John, Arthur, Mary, Lisa Marie, James, Jerome, Jody, Neslin, Craig, Melody. Love you guys. You guys are so awesome. I think you guys are really going to enjoy this for sure. Yeah, we're there. So let's get going. Hello, my name is Robert Hollis. I hope you're having a wonderful and blessed day. And today's title is If What You Know Is Not True. If what you believe that you believe that you believe. I believe this. I know it to be true. If it's not, when would you like to know? Now, for most people, they go, I want to know right now. But when someone gives you the truth, now you're aware, and now you have to do something about it. So a lot of people don't want to know. So I always love starting out this conversation. It's the way that I live my life because I got exposed to a couple of gentlemen that were extreme. One was a billionaire named Roger Penske. Another guy, millions and millions and millions of dollars, was on the cover of Inc. magazine as the owner of the fastest growing company of its time. A guy named Bill Gould. And so when you're around people like this, they go to you and they say stuff and you go, what? Now, the obvious ones, first of all, when I say this statement, let's see how many of you want to agree with it. Everybody lies. So we're told it's not good to lie. We're told, some of us in religions, that it's sinful to lie. Then we have what is a small little white lie. But my mentor, when my mentor said this, he says, when people are lying, when their lips are moving. And I was like, damn, that's pretty freaking harsh. That's really, really harsh. But in reality, we grow up as a small child, right? And then someone tells us about Santa. Now, this is different than Corky, Santa Corky. But we're told that there's a Santa Claus. And what's the deal? See, it's always unique with a lie, right? Is that you got to get on the good list. They changed that a little bit or added to it with Mensch on the bench or Elf on the shelf or something based on that denomination or religion. And so, we're told about the Santa guy, right? That shows up. My wife showed me, Terry, of 40 years. She showed me a recent video, and a girl was opening up a present and she says, oh my God, look it. Santa uses Amazon Prime. Doesn't he know that he could have the elves make this toy? See, children are we're all a little smarter than we want to say, right? But what goes along with that? The Easter Bunny, you know what I mean? One of the ones that my one mentor told me that was so funny is, who discovered America? Columbus, right? Well, over the years, they said, well, listen, we'll keep Columbus, and what we'll do is we'll do an indigenous people a day as well. But, I can't show up in a country, and that's the first time that I'm there, and I discovered a country that already has people there. So what the hell, right? And so we get all these things that we're taught. You got to do good in school. You got to get a great education. And then, you don't do good in school and you don't get a good education. And now what you do is you start finding out that there's people that quit school to start a company, and they became a millionaire and they became a billionaire. And some people couldn't read or write, like Henry Ford. So to think that his family tried to take his money away, saying that he was incompetent. And he was one of the United States and world's first billionaires. So he's sitting in court and they go, is it true that you can't read? And he goes, it's absolutely true. And he goes, well, how can you be successful? See, people that are ignorant means they don't know that they don't know. How can they possibly understand with people that are successful what they do and how they do it, how they think? See, they just assume. They just assume. So, like, I love the Henry Ford story because they said, how can you be successful? And he says, well, on my phone, I have this button and it's an S on it. S. And he says, I know the S stands for secretary. So I press that button. All of a sudden, I hear a knock on the door and she comes in and I hand her an envelope and she reads it to me. If I need something read, she reads it to me. I can hear. Is it true that you can't write? I can't write. I press that S button again. I talk to her and she writes things down and then she, writes it for me and then I sign it. I can sign my name. I can't read. Well, you don't know math. I know I don't. I press this A. A is for accountant. This guy comes in, gal comes in, and then turns around and says, hey, so all of a sudden I started reading things that very successful people told me to read, like The Science of Getting Rich. People say, well, you need money, right? So you need intelligence. You need to be smart to make money. Lie. See, that's a lie. Well, you need money to make money. No, that is a lie. That is a lie. Okay. What's another one? Well, you need to know people, so there's this little theory out there, right, that you hear that, see, what broke people do and mentally broke people do, poverty does, is studying poverty gets you nowhere. So what the poverty people do is they come up with excuses of why someone succeeds. Oh, they had money. Oh, someone paid for them to go to school. Oh, they know somebody. See, there are stories like this, but the majority of the people that have Riggs the Richest story, you can go to roberthollis.com/free and get my book for free. It doesn't cost any money. And I had a guy named Max Miller record 50 hours of how I went from nothing to something, how I went from below ordinary as a dyslexic auto mechanic to making millions and millions of dollars and helping other people do it. So I always get these people that reach out to me and go, well, you knew somebody. It's not who you are. It's who you know. Another lie. Another lie. Do you guys realize, have you ever heard of this game I'm trying to think of the guy from Footloose, Kevin Bacon, but it's called 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. I'm going to do a separate video on this. But, so it always, in the game, you find someone that was in a movie with a person, and then that person was in a movie with another person, and there's always a couple of degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon. So, and a couple of who knows who, only a couple of generations, everyone is connected to Kevin Bacon. Well, in this day and age with social media, I'll probably ask Matthew to do me a huge favor and check that out with AI. How many degrees are we away from the most, what was I going to say? Not only wealthiest people on the planet, but, never in the history of the world could you find someone that inspires you and go on YouTube or podcast and put interviews with Elon Musk, interviews with Oprah, interviews with whoever. And now in this day and age, because everyone's got a podcast, you guys are going to hear the story of every single person. the stuff that they went through. And now there's documentaries, like, Sylvester Stallone's documentary and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I'm just talking about documentaries of, professional athletes, everything. And you get to hear their up and down stories and what they went through. So this now makes the world have no excuses. See what I mean? Because now a person can say, well, you had an internet or you could afford a computer. When a lot of people that first get started might be borrowing somebody else's computer that's hooked to the internet, or, using Wi-Fi. They got a device and then they use Wi-Fi. And so you find all these people that didn't believe. I call it get the memo. See, they're not critical thinkers. They think, well, I can't do this because this and because of this, and then this and this, and I didn't get this, and then I didn't get this. So in this day and age, people are saying, hey, listen, I can't get a really good paying job. I really can't get a good paying job. When now there's companies out there, see, just because you don't know doesn't mean it's not true. But now there's companies out there that you can go to that will train you for free to get jobs in these major tech companies that they can't find enough people. So you can make $100,000 a year, $40,000, $50,000 a year, and also work at home, work remotely. But people just do not want to believe that that is possible. So all of this stuff is like people go, well, I can't build a YouTube channel, and I can't, be an influencer, and I can't. What are some other, I'm going to be frank here, don't get mad at me. What other stuff do you believe that's just flat out bullshit? I never thought about this. I usually get very passionate and I meditate and pray before I get on these things to say the right things to those that have ears to hear. But now we have AI. Well, I'm sure there's some people that don't believe in AI, but now we have AI where you can immediately go on to AI and put stuff in there. And the stuff that you believe is so is bullshit, is total bullshit. Paul Revere was not the person that rode from city to city to city saying the British is coming. It wasn't him. So how many other things from the time that you were young to where you are now that you found out and you just went, wow, I can't believe that I used to believe that. Like, hey, don't go out, and we repeat it, don't we? Listen to this story. One of my favorite stories, especially during this time. There's 4 generations of women. So great-great-grandma, grandma, mom, and a daughter, right? And they're all, hanging around for Thanksgiving dinner. And all of a sudden, the mom takes the ham and she cuts the ends off, right? And her daughter looks at her and goes, Mom, why do you do that? And she goes, I did that because my mom showed me. So they looked right at her. Why do you cut the ends off the ham before you cook it? That's pretty interesting. My mom showed me. So great grandma is in the living room watching football. And the little girl walks in there and says, Great grandma, why do you cut the ends off the ham? Oh, honey, I did that because my oven was too small. How many things do you frickin' believe that was passed from generations to generations to generations to generations, and people don't even know where they got their information from? I'll give you one of the best ones I love. So I got involved in this industry 37 years ago. And to me, it's marketing, just marketing. Everyone adds the other names. If someone said, well, I heard this is multi-level marketing, or I heard that it's affiliate marketing, or I heard that it's a people franchise, all these names, right? And so, there's a historian. You can check out this video with Ron Henley on my YouTube channel on one of our podcasts. And so I started asking them questions. And I just recently reached out to them and said, hey, where did the name network marketing come from? Where does the name multi-level come from? Believe it or not, the word Ponzi scheme actually comes from a guy. They named it after him because he got put in prison for doing it. His name was Ponzi. So that's where they got Ponzi scheme. Did you guys know that? And so this is just people, putting in money and then putting in money and then putting in money. There's no products or services being sold. And so, people say this looks like a pyramid. You know what I mean? When if you really looked at the network marketing structure, it doesn't grow like a pyramid. It grows like a diamond. So you get a few people in and it grows and grows and grows. And then when it gets to about 4 levels, then everyone doesn't pass the right information on. They start changing it. They have egos. They learn from other people that are not documented and helping other people succeed. So then the information changes and it starts going backwards. You didn't know that, did you? See, there's probably a lot of stuff that you say and you do that you pass along information. Like I remember when I first got on the internet and someone says, oh my God, if you share this email with everyone, Bill Gates will give you $1. Oh my God. There used to be, and probably still is, websites like Snoops and all these things because people were putting so much bullshit on the internet. I never thought about that. You don't hear about it now because people don't do it. See, there actually was websites out there. We now probably could do it with AI where someone says, hey, listen, did you know da 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 da? And you go, how do you know that? And people go, because I just know. I just know. They're now just doing what is it called? The podcast that's out there about John F. Kennedy, the president, that was assassinated. They're now coming out with new stuff about that and talking to the doctors that were there. And there was a lot of stuff where our government lied to us. Oh, I started this out by, do you believe that people lie? See, most of us want to believe that everything is true. So we hear about it. Oh my God, did you hear that Jennifer Aniston is pregnant? It's on all the tabloids, right? And it's like, oh my God, did you hear? And then you find out again, bullshit, right? And so it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me that there was websites, probably still are, where people can research it and it's like, no, that's not true. But then a lot of people probably wouldn't believe the AI or the website. See what I mean? It's like, well, this website is actually created by a certain group of people and the government, and their goals are to lie to us. So then, oh my God, man. Oh my God. And so I think the majority of people's time right now is being upset about stuff that's probably not true. Have any one of you ever shared a message or sort of was like shocked that, oh my God, did you hear that so-and-so died? And then you find out, no, they didn't. So I jumped on AI right before I got on here. And I think that some of these will blow you away. I put in here the biggest lies that we were told. And it says the idea of the biggest lies can very greatly depend on culture, society, individual perspectives. However, some commonly cited examples include being perfect. Wow. I gotta do this right. Where did we get that kind of stupid freaking programming? Do you realize it's the opposite? See, this is when I learned from a billionaire that, verbally gave me a pretty good lesson in front of a group of guys because I brought up something because I wanted to contribute. I want people that want, I want to be a part. I want to be important. I need to be significant. So, call on me. I got the answer. I'm going to make it up and it's going to be bullshit, but I just still want to be, a person's going to throw some facts out there. I need to feel important. So, let me do it. Yeah, that was me. Know-it-all. See, know-it-alls do that. And so I raised my hand and I talked about a thing that I overheard another pit crew talking about. And I was working for Roger Penske, a billionaire, and he turned around and he says, Bobby, he goes, how do you know what you just shared with the group is true? How do you know that? Well, I heard these guys talking about it. Well, what if they seen you with did you have your uniform on? I did. So what if they were like playing a trick on you? What if they were actually bringing up stuff that they knew that you would probably relay back to the team or myself that would actually put us in a worse position? I never thought of that. See, how do you know what you just shared with me was true? And so he then shared with us that in the real world, where people are happy, fulfilled, successful, out of despair, there's a small group out there, about 3% of the people that figured it out. He was one of them. And he said, listen, do you realize virtually everything that you believe, the polar opposite is true? The polar opposite is true. So while the rest of the world is like, I got to do this perfect or I'm going to get a bad grade and someone's going to put some red marks and circle it. And, I'm going to get a bad grade and then I'm going to be humiliated in front of the other kids. And then I got to bring my report card home. And then my parents or the people that are taking care of me, in my case, as an orphan and growing up in foster home, then I got to be embarrassed by that. And I'm going to get reprimanded or punished or whatever. And so, all of a sudden you find out that the people that are the most successful in life are the people that fail. That's what the world calls it. But the 3%ers call it learning lessons. I tried it this way, it didn't work. I tried it this way, it didn't work. I tried it this way, it didn't work. I tried it this way and it didn't work. And they know that you learn and you get like a mastermind by learning information, by attempting to do it right. And then it doesn't work out right. So that's more gained information to make you get gooder and gooder and gooder and gooder. See, there's some of you that are such perfectionists. You go, this guy's so stupid. He uses the word gooder. You know what I mean? And so, perfection, it's got to be perfect when in reality, people believe they have to know everything. Here's another lie, another big bullshit lie is you don't need to know anything to be successful. You don't need to know anything. Hey, I got a question for you. If I were you, I wouldn't ask me. I'm an auto mechanic on workman's comp because I got hurt on the job. I tried to stop a van from falling off a hoist. That's how not intelligent I am. But I am working with this individual that showed me his check. It was $62,000 last month. And he showed me a lot of people with pictures with them of him and them holding checks where they made $8 to $10 to $20,000. So this guy not only has taught other people, but he's actually got documentation himself. And I would rather you learn the things that you feel you need to learn from them. Right? So you got this whole group of people. Here's the other one. Success is defined by wealth and status. Holy cow. AI came up with this. Every one of you that are watching this video live or recorded, success for you, happiness for you, love for you, connection for you is your description of what it is. You're unique. You got a 400 trillion to 1 chance of you being alive. You're unique. You got your DNA is different. Your irises, your fingerprints, everything's unique. So your definition is unique. That's why there's books out there called Love Language. You know what I mean? Where one person, the way they express love is not the way another person expresses love. It's like crazy. But yet we go to a school of, 200 plus year old educational system that teaches you how to be a good employee. And a lot of you got a lot of hours and programming, showing up on time. You got to learn the information. You got to get tested on the information. You got to pass that test. And, we'll tell you when you can take a break. We'll tell you when you can go to lunch. We'll tell you when you can leave. So we got an education system where you're supposed to be good at everything, when in reality, we know pretty impossible to be good at everything. So why weren't we taught to figure out things that we love? You didn't say like. We love to do that we would do without money, and we just get thrown with a group of people that love doing that. So you keep getting gooder and gooder and gooder at the things that you're good at, instead of being forced and called a failure for not being good at things that are not part of who you are in personality. Okay. So success is defined by wealth and status. Bullshit. My wife is one of the most successful people that I know on this planet. There you go. All right. Happiness comes from external sources. Oh my God. I could go on for hours just on this subject. If my boy or girlfriend would only do this, if my siblings would only do this, if my parents would only do this, if the government would only do this, if my teachers would only do this, if my religious, affiliation would only do this. People in the world are constantly believing that the likes that they get on a post, the heart that they get on a post, the comments that they get from a post, the number of followers. See, everyone, including me, not as much as I used to, is always basing their happiness and their fulfillment, the art of fulfillment, based off external sources. See, we want to feel connected. We want to feel significant. There's people out there who's like, she didn't send me an invitation to the wedding. I didn't get a freaking birthday message from so-and-so. There's people out there that are so effing demanding that the people that they love the most don't want anything to do with them, because their unrealistic expectations is you need to be this way. You need to be this way. Got to do a whole different video on this one. But my wife and I last night watched Gran Turismo, done by Sony. And it's about a kid that played video games. Everyone in the world said, Robert, Terry, you're homeschooling your kids? Really? And I love my wife's saying, she says, if someone's going to bully and abuse my kids, it's going to be me, not somebody else. And see, and this is not for you to disagree or agree with, but I just wanted to make sure that I always had money to afford the fastest internet possible wherever I lived. And then also the fastest computers. I wanted my sons to be able to, go out and become the best at what they love to do. Doesn't need to be money. So in the video, without giving it away, there's one kid that's playing football, they call it soccer, and the other kid that's playing video games, computer games. Get a real job, got to go to college. And at the end of the movie, he's standing on the podium winning third place at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. And yeah, you had to have that uncomfortable conversation where his dad showed up and said, I'm so sorry I didn't support you. His son said, all you told me to do is find something that I love and do that. See, how many of you know people all over the world that their closest people, their family and friends, are the ones that steal their dream? totally steal their dream because you don't fit in the freaking box, right? The other one here, you can be anything you want. You can be anything you want. Oh my God. I'm guilty of this. I encourage my sons that they could do anything that they wanted to. In reality, I don't know if I really put everything on the line that I could be a gymnast. That I could win the gold medals in the Olympics or maybe figure skating. All right. I remember this funny joke. I hope you guys enjoy it. But it says the next time that someone tells you everything's possible, tell them to put a set of skis, snow skis on their shoulder and walk through a revolving door. So, but yeah, a lot of us say that, don't they? A lot of us say, hey, you know what? Everything's possible. All right. Some things are possible. Some things are possible, right? We live in a just world. Holy crap. I don't even want to spend any time on this. See, there's a whole group of people on the planet today that think their job is to make people that are not perfect lose everything in their life, their job, their status, whoever they are, because they made a mistake. See, we live in a world, not a world. No, not a world. We live in places where they say there's free speech, unless you say something I don't like. See, if you say something that I don't like, then that allows me on social media to destroy your whole freaking life. That's not very just. But then I learned there's a lot of things in life that are out of my control. And that goes back to the external thing. If I can't find happiness in external things, then how can I control external things? So if I can't find happiness there, why do I allow external things to make me unhappy, pissed off, angry, feeling like I got to go out there and make sure the whole world configures to my perspective, my philosophy, boy, you want to talk about ignorance. Ignorance is being an individual that's pissed off at everybody that doesn't feel, act the way you do. Holy shit. What would the world be like if we could just get people to go, wow, no one's perfect. I'm not perfect. I have no right to judge other people because I'm not perfect. So I'm not going to pass judgment on anybody. They're just going to do what they're going to do. Do I need to understand it? I do not. I don't think I would have said that, but I'm not even going to reach out to anybody and say I shouldn't. I wouldn't say that. See, someone says something or someone does something, and then everybody wants to be on one right side or another. It's all about making sure that you believe that you're on the right side of things. What if that was the problem? Huh? Okay. History is always truthful. Historic narratives are often simplified or altered to fit a certain agenda or perspective. The truth about historical events can be much more complex and multifaceted. All I got to say to those of you that are believers or not believers, and when you find out the political bullshit and government stuff that went down to make sure that hemp was illegal, while other people could tear down forests that they own to make paper. It's all about that's probably not true either. But I was just about saying, you can always go back and follow the money. Follow the money. So a guy named Randolph Hearst, without getting too out of control, he owned every piece of written media. Every piece, magazines, newspapers, everything. He owned it all. And so he figured out that why not own a paper mill, because he owns all the things that are printed on paper. And so he started buying up land and used those trees for paper. So someone says, "Hey, I got something that's better, lighter, stronger." It's hemp. We've been using hemp forever. Need to outlaw that. And for those of you that want to be on one side or the other, this is not about being right. I just know our government, whether you like it or not, now has made the Farm Act where hemp is legal to grow. Used to be illegal. Now it's federally legal. But still, the rest of the world don't want anything to do with hemp. Why? A bunch of bullshit lies. See, you don't need to be a partaker, but why make sure that other people can't have it? It's their body. See, there's one thing where we go, it's about their body, and then it's them, and then there's other areas. Well, no, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. Interesting, huh? All right. And to finish this off, for a while, technology always leads to progress. Whoa. In my life of 61 years, the internet has got to be the biggest one of this, right? So there's a segment of the world that used internet for harm. And there's this other area that used the internet for betterment. But isn't that everything? Yeah. See, transportation in an automobile is a pretty cool technology, but yet other people use that to run over people or try to run through a border or commit suicide or get drunk and drive it and kill somebody. There's always this yin and yang. I was a black belt in martial arts. My sons are black belts in Taekwondo. And the yin and yang is the light and dark, right? So it's like, there's always this yin and yang. Last one here. There's only one right way to live. There's only one right way to live. I did a video. I don't remember what it was called. But, there's only one good driver in the world. Only one. And that's my wife. For some of you, you're going to go, you're right. And then for some of you, you're going, no. I'm the right person, right? These right fighters, these know-it-alls, just to actually have a mentality that you know everything about everything is just so absurd. It's like, it just shows that you're the opposite of what you need to be. Not that I'm perfect. I'm not. But the older I get, the less I know and the more questions that I have. The world is changing so fast, so quick, that there's a lot of stuff that I'm finding out every day that's not so. It's not so. Oh my God, I didn't realize that. Oh my God, I didn't realize that watching that show last night. I didn't know that. I had no clue. No clue. No clue that Nissan did a competition with that racing game, Gran Turismo, and actually did a contest to prove that the kids that were playing video games could drive a car professionally. It's like, I didn't know that. Now I know that. So, different cultures, communities, and individuals, varied ways of living, the area, the idea that there's a single correct way to live is a common misconception. So I'll end with this. So you're unique if you did something awful and they found your DNA. If you got in front of a jury, you're in trouble. Hey, we did a DNA test, 0.0000000000001 in 15 trillion. This is the dude. There's no one else that's got his DNA. Guilty. All right. So you're that unique, but yet the rest of most of us, me included, are constantly trying to live the life that other people believe and expect us to live. So other people's thoughts, when we know they didn't get an owner's manual, they don't know what they're doing. They say they do. They have no documentation that they know what they're doing. But we try to get the significance and the approval and the acceptance and the love from people that are just doing their best trying to figure it out themselves. So how can we how is it possible for us to listen to other people that don't know and make a decision that we know what's going on in certain situations based off other people's opinions or our lack of experience and knowledge ourselves? See, there's people that comes like, hey, I know how you do business. I'm not grabbing product and going door to door trying to sell it door to door. I don't do that. Oh, yes, you do. I'm not talking to my family and friends. I know you don't like them and they probably don't like you. I get that. But I don't do that. Yeah, well, you got to spend a lot of money to make money. I I don't do that. I don't well, I don't want to buy leads or run advertisements. I don't do that. Oh, yeah, you do. I've tried a couple of these before and I didn't make any money and this is just a scam. So you tried something, you didn't do something, you didn't find an experienced person that was documented and showing other people, and you wasn't the right person that was willing to follow instructions a certain way. But now it's bad. Is there anything else you tried and quit at? Like band, art, sports, relationships? Have you ever been in a relationship that didn't go well? Yeah, but none of them were my fault. It was their fault. So I did this whole video to basically share with you is just what if what you knew that you knew that you knew, what you're willing to fight for, whether, what you're willing to go on social media and beat the crap out of people because you know they're wrong. What if what you know that you know that you know for a fact is not so? See, when I hung around some very happy, fulfilled people that had a lot of money, that were making some really major impact. See, what I look for is what people do for others. So I had two mentors that were really, really good at that. And then when the internet came out, I got exposed to a lot of other people that the amount of money that they make is really like crazy. But yet they give a lot to charity and they do a lot for people. And we hear about their story and we go, that's got to be a bunch of bullshit because that just sounds too good to be true. How would you like to go through life? You're buried or cremated, whatever you believe. And there's only a couple of people at your funeral, at your service. And they go, does anybody have something nice to say about this person? And the person gets up and goes, they were just one of those people where everything was too good to be true. This person was able to skid through life, a lot of debt, not making an impact, believing that everything was too good to be true. Wow. That good for you. Good for you, man. You made it through life unscathed, doing as little as possible, not making a difference in your life or anybody else's. Congratulations. Woohoo. Wow. I'd rather go down and people knowing how much I failed Geez, Robert failed at that company, 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 that company. Wow, been in 19 companies. But there's a lot of people in the world that went, wow, while he was in that company before the owners made a mistake or went out of business or the industry changed, he made a big difference in my life. He shared a bunch of stuff that he knew that I was able to apply in the rest of my life. Made me more fulfilled, a better mate, a better father, better mother, a better sibling, a better child, a better person overall. Yeah. Allowed me to do some stuff to figure out residual leverage. And yeah, took me out of despair. Don't have to worry about money anymore. Now I got to find those people. I just will honestly admit that they don't know everything. I thank God that someone got through to me. And I just have one last question for you. If you were me and I was you, whether you believe in God or not, I pray to God that someone would get through to me. What would you say? What would you do to get through to me when you see me struggling and unhappy, not in good relationships, lonely, desperate, depressed, thinking about suicide? My whole life sucks. What would you say or do to me to get me to see it? Because I thank God every day that Sean Hennigan intervened in my life and didn't screw up the messaging. Hey, Bobby, yeah, I met a guy that wants to teach people ways to be happy and fulfilled and never worry about money again. Do you know of anyone? Yeah, me. So I know you can do this. I love and appreciate you. If no one's giving you permission to be fulfilled and successful, let me be the first. My mentors did that for me. And please do me a huge personal favor and share this video with people that know everything. Love and see you later. Talk to you soon. Bye for now.